Welcome to the Signatures and Finisher podcast. I'm your host, DS Walt. Yeah, you guys, excuse me, something popped up on my screen that kind of threw me off, but I'm back. you know how you got one of those cleaners and virus and all that stuff, to take care and make sure they monitor your PC. Yeah, that just popped up on my screen out of nowhere. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
100%.
You gotta love it. Today's show, not too much to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. We could just dive into how bad Raw actually is.
Yeah. Well, see, when I say there's not a lot to talk about, I mean it's like we seen everything we need to see on Monday Night Raw. That it just, I mean, we seen everything you see. Now it's kind of like, okay, we don't got a lot to talk about, but we're gonna talk about it.
Oh no, you could 100% not watch Raw or SmackDown up until WrestleMania and still exactly know what's happening.
Absolutely. So I'm DS Walt, that's Jamie, and this is the Signature Finisher podcast. I hope everybody enjoy us. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share our show. Help us out. Y'all be doing a pretty good job with that lately. Keep it going. And
you know who liked the show? This guy got it done.
Yeah, after he admitted it, he don't be.
I forgot.
Okay. You forgiven.
I mean, I wasn't even signed into YouTube, if it makes you feel any better. Like, I wasn't even signed in. I've been paying for YouTube, and I wasn't even signed into it.
How you paying for YouTube?
I pay for YouTube Premium with, like, YouTube Music and shit.
Nah, I don't got all that, man.
Spotify sucks. Apple Music sucks. They all suck. I mean, YouTube Music sucks. Google Play Music was 100 times better than YouTube Music, but
it's still got Spotify service. I'm happy.
I keep Spotify around just to do the audio Batman books, if I'm being honest. They're good.
I got Spotify because the music, my podcast, and hopefully next week, Central Finisher podcast will be on Spotify.
Oh, it means we got to up our game.
Yeah, we're gonna be on Spotify.
Okay, fine.
All right, well, we're gonna let Jamie start the show because he has a lot to say.
You know, when we do the rundown of the show, that's when you tell me when to do these things. Mine was just a rant. Nobody wants to hear me rant.
Yeah, yes, we do. That's why.
That's the whole reason of the show is just to hear me rant.
Let me frame this for you, so then you get right into it. It's good. I want everybody to understand we love doing this show. So this is how we interact. This is how we do things here.
It is.
And me and Tupac all day, every day.
Do you have the gnomies, the yard gnomes?
No, I don't.
You got to get the gnomies. You get like Tupac, Ludacris. I think Snoop Dogg's the third. There's, I think, 3 or 4 of them. You got to get the gnomies.
I don't want to scare the neighbors. They're scared enough.
That's fair.
Yeah. So let me give a rundown of what Jamie's rant going to be about. And then he's going to take it over. See, yesterday Raw live from New York City was very live. I mean, the crowd was into it because it's New York. New York loves their WWE. It was into it. In the air, you kind of felt that it had the potential to be a good show. When you do what The Rock always do, smell the excitement. It was all right there. Stephanie McMahon came out. She cut her promo. Cody Rhodes was there. He cut his promo. Then you heard a slap, a diabolical, and then you heard you're not like your father, and then you're not like your father. There was a lot of pointing. There was a lot of you're not like your father going on in that segment. The overall card for Raw wasn't great, wasn't good. As some of us would say, it seems like they fell asleep behind the wheel. But
There's a great moment on Raw last night.
But they managed. they managed to wake up from behind the wheel. It was kind of like they were drunk, but then once they got out of their drunkenness, they shocked us with a WrestleMania match or two that leave your head scratching. Now, one of those matches is going to be pretty good, but what's the story behind? What we'll be doing here? Are they just putting this together to be a good match, or are they going to tell us how this happened? The other one is a head scratcher because how you went from he's going to defend his title at WrestleMania to now it's a ladder match, and to when your announcers make that statement, the junior manager was having qualified matches on set on main event. When? How do you get from A, B to C that quick? It's like you skipped a step.
When is main event on?
Saturday.
Like I haven't watched main event and I couldn't tell you how long. I don't even know when it's on because I don't care.
Yeah, so I heard it's on YouTube.
I mean, that seems to be where all their programming is going because nobody wants to carry it anymore.
Yeah, and by the way, YouTube is killing it. So I'm just putting it out there. So, but then you went from that to we finally got a fight. But why would you let your main event fight but your other main event you kept apart? Like you had one of the guys push the junior manager, he gets in the ring, and then the guy who's in charge came out of nowhere. It seems like he came out through the crowd to separate. So no, we're not gonna mess up this main event. But yet you will let your main event for the championship, you let those two guys go at it. I just don't. I mean,
well, it tells you what's the match that they actually give two shits about right now.
Oh, they care about the Brock Lesnar and the Obafemi match.
That's the only match that they care about because Triple H ain't involved in anything else, but he took the time to come out for that last night because they know that's the only match anybody actually cares about. Yeah. And I still say, unless Brock says that he's done this year, they screwed this up because Oba looks huge. Oba looks huge until he stands next to Brock Lesnar. Then he don't look that big. No. He actually looks kind of small because Brock's got the abs going. He's got everything. And Oba's like, yeah, you got a little bit of a beer belly going, but he's still a monster dude. But I think he's not built up to the monster killer that he needs to be to wrestle Brock.
No, but I kind of think Oba is built differently. He's a former football
player. He's all arms and chest.
Yes. And yeah, do I think he's stronger than Brock Lesnar? Yes. But do I think Brock? I think he is stronger than Brock. I just think Brock has what most of us.
He appears stronger because of some of the moves he does. The whole pick you up and just launch you. Brock doesn't do that. Brock does suplexes. No. So he appears stronger. I guarantee you he's not stronger than Brock.
Well, let me finish.
Brock's full body strong. Oba's arms and shoulders strong.
What I was trying to say is that Brock is like most of us, most people who is size and big and strong like Brock, who are in their mid to late 40s, is what they call he got a little extra that old man strength to go along with the strength that he has.
Get it correct. It's farm boy strength.
So
old man strength is just what we tell ourselves to feel good about ourselves. Farm boy strength is a real thing.
Yeah. So out of the both, Brock is a better athlete as far as what he can do in the ring. Oba, in my opinion, who is the next Brock Lesnar, as they kind of alluded to it in a way where this is going to be the guy who's going to be the big main attraction. And be honest, I don't know why they're trying to make Oba then that's Brock Lesnar, but
because it didn't work for Braun Breaker.
Nope,
100%. That's why. The only concern I have for Oba at WrestleMania is if they have a long entrance ramp, I'm not waiting 7 minutes for him to walk to the ring. Like, he's got to get that strut to speed up like double time.
I'll wait. No rush.
Unless he's gonna have like a whole parade coming down with him, so you got something else to do while you're waiting that 7 minutes for him to get to the ring. Either that or don't have a long entrance ramp.
Look, you already know they're gonna bring out all the big guns out for him. You already know that. And by the way, the reason why I described everything I did before we talked about this match is because it's part of Jamie's rant, and I want him to go. I don't want to mention who and who. I want him to do it. So
I'm glad you know what part of my rant is, because I don't know what part of my rant is.
Well, you just
I just start going.
Yeah, yes, I'm saying you did a little bit before we start the show, and then
yeah, now I got that out of my system. So now I'm like, now I got to pivot.
Yeah, yeah. So let's start from the top here because your rant started from the top. Actually, your rant started yesterday through the text messages and before we came on. So we're gonna start from the top here.
The Stephanie McMahon thing, like, who thought it was a good idea to have Stephanie McMahon come out to try and sell the story of Cody and Randy? It would have been far more impactful for Randy to come out and just keep doing what they've been doing. Keep building it that way. Stephanie McMahon is not involved in either of these two's career on camera. So for her to come out makes no sense whatsoever. Now, if they would have had her come out and do her thing and Randy comes out and says basically shut up, bitch, and gives her an RKO, okay, you're helping enhance the story. It plays into the story, but you did none of that. You slap Cody. Cody says thank you. It's stupid. It was basically like, hey, let's get my wife on TV so people don't forget that she's actually part of the Hall of Fame class. Go ship her out there for 5 minutes. Complete waste of time. If anything, it dulled the story that they have. You went from like high spots on SmackDown and things to go stand in the ring with Stephanie. Doesn't do anything. You're actually dulling the story down. And then you go in.
No, go ahead. No, finish.
I mean, if you want me to rant, this just keeps going. So you got to interject.
Keep
right?
Going. Keep going.
What happened next?
You said something about the Penta match.
Well, that wasn't next, but
no. Excuse me. It was the women's tag team match.
Oh yeah, that whole thing is just, hey, night one is going to be an absolute bore fest, and we really don't have a lot going on, so we need all four of you to go out and kill off like an hour and a half worth of time for us during WrestleMania. Again, proof positive why WrestleMania doesn't need to be 2 nights. But it's a way to, hey, how can we get more money out of the fans? How can we rip them off some more? Let's have a second night. I mean, I have no problem. I love the women's wrestling more than I love the men's wrestling. I think athlete for athlete, I think the women are better than the men for the most part. The men have obviously a couple massive standouts. The women have a couple massive standouts. But when you have a bunch of your former main event talent all in tag teams because you're trying to push a non-existent tag team division, what are you doing? Like, you're going to have this whole gauntlet thing. It's a complete waste of time. And if anybody wins those tag titles besides Nia and Lash, it's a disservice to the whole thing. Because none of those teams are cohesive enough to have a win over Nia and Lash.
All right. So you went from there and you jumped over the Liv Morgan segment. Because you didn't
Liv is just Liv is phenomenal.
You didn't care for that one that too much, so you skipped that one, and you went to the who was?
I mean, the segment was fine. I'm that's one of the few matches I'm actually looking forward to at WrestleMania is Stephanie and Liv.
Yeah, that's why I say you didn't care for it. You skipped it because you had nothing negative to say.
There was nothing negative about it. It was good.
I'm sorry. Let me clear. I should have clarified that with the audience next time. I'm sorry. That's on me. That's on me.
Liv dropping the Spanish, that definitely ups it a little bit. That was nice. Super looking forward to that match.
Now, I do got one question though. I do got one question for you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You remember a few weeks ago when she cut that promo about the Judgment Day, about herself, Roxanne, JD, and Dom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when she said it like that, you just thinking like, all right, the Judgment Day just gonna be them 4. That's the impression I got. Just they're gonna stick to those 4, right? That's the impression I got. And
that's the impression they give, but it doesn't make any sense.
Right. So yesterday, Roxanne Perez came, she comes back, from her injuries. She attacked it, Stephanie Bakir. So my question is, where does she fit in?
I would be perfectly fine if Judgment Day was just Liv and Roxanne at this point. That's all it needs to be. Because Raquel, she's in that main event sphere along with Liv, but she's kind of off on her own. It's one of those things like it's kind of like Rhea Ripley and Damien. They come together when the situation calls for it, but you don't need to have Raquel and Liv together all the time. When they were doing exclusive tag team things, it made sense. But now you have Raquel going after titles and things like that. She's off doing her thing. If you want to keep Liv and Roxanne as a tag team, you can, but Liv is too much of a star for that. Like, she is your main event. Even without the title, she is still the most important women's wrestler you have. Because Rhea, they've tried to do it with Rhea, but look at Rhea. She's uninteresting. Liv can cut a promo at the drop of a dime. She's great in the ring. She is your de facto most important woman in the company right now. So keeping her and Roxanne together, I think, would be perfectly fine. Because at some point you're going to have the Liv and Roxanne match. But it seems the only problem I have with that is that the only way they build feuds in the women's division is basically to have women turn on each other. Like, they can't figure out other organic ways to build feuds besides winning some sort of tournament and building a feud from there, or being tag team partners and turning on each other.
Another question for you here. Now, when you said that Raquel is doing her own thing, do you think that Roxanne, oh boy, do you think that Raquel will somehow develop a little jealousy towards Liv if Liv beat Stephanie at WrestleMania?
No, because they pivoted that whole thing, because that's basically what was supposed to happen to Liv when Roxanne joined the Judgment Day. And then Liv got hurt, and they basically just said, yeah, we're not going to continue that. Now they're going to be besties, and we're just going to push Raquel into the main event and get her to try and go after Stephanie. So I don't think they're going to do a jealousy thing. I think they kind of went that way, and because Liv got hurt, they just dropped it. You don't need to do a jealousy thing. She's already wrestling in the main event. She's already wrestled Stephanie multiple times. Now, if they have Liv beat her, then sure, you can build something from there.
Well, no, I only say that because, Liv cost her the match last time.
Yeah.
By interfering on her behalf.
That's why that should have been like the final part to break up the rest. You kicked Finn Balor out. Kicking Finn out should have been the end of it to begin with, but then you basically make it a point to say we're still together. That should have been the breaking point, because JD and Finn were their whole thing. You kicked out Finn, and now JD's suddenly loyal to Dom. Like, no. So that makes JD the odd man out. Like, just the whole Judgment Day thing, it doesn't make any sense anymore. If you just want to say Roxanne and Liv or the Judgment Day, that's their tag team name. Let them run with it.
All right, there was that. I'm gonna skip the shock because I want you to breathe a little bit. We're gonna skip that. So we're gonna go right into the match that was made, called the ladder match.
How do you have what is technically, we'll just call it your second most important title, because the world titles are 1 and 1A. That they shouldn't be, and we all know the WWE title to them is more important than the World Heavyweight title. But saying 1 and 1A, the Intercontinental title should technically be your second most important title. And you have no actual plans for this, that you have Penta wrestle a match and then have, I don't remember if it was Jackie Redmond or Kathy Kelly, go in the ring and do a mini little interview to announce a ladder match. Something that nobody knew anything about, but apparently people qualified for it. And again, Javon Evans, people want to see him. Penta, people want to see him. Does anybody want to see Rusev? No. Does anybody really want to see? I love JD McDonough, but you haven't done anything with JD McDonough to make people want to see him.
It would have been a lot easier if they would just say, hey, Penta versus Javon Evans. All right, cool. I'll watch it.
You would have gotten far more excitement in a singles match, no stipulations, to just have Javon Evans and Penta.
Yeah.
Rusev is still there just because, hey, we brought you back and we're paying you a good chunk of money. We got to get something out of you. But like, you throw this match together with a bunch of people that, yeah, we care about a couple of them, but you haven't given us a reason to care about anybody else.
She's not using
Like,
anybody else.
Chad Gable not getting this match. Like,
wait a minute. Chad Gable is still under a mask.
Exactly. That's kind of the point I was getting at. Is like, how is Chad Gable not in here? You got JD McDonough, but not Chad Gable. Have they announced the Americanos match yet? Did I miss that somewhere?
No, you ain't missed that.
Okay, so that's gonna be like the final match they announce.
I think they announced it, but they ain't made it official. Because they had that match on Raw. So I don't know if it's gonna be a return match.
Like, there's no good way out of that, like we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
like, you have to have Chad Gable lose. You have to.
In retrospect, yeah, to make a storyline sense, yeah, he has to lose so that he can go back to being Chad Gable.
Yeah.
And that end, you know what, man? Be honest, it's a lose-lose situation with that one.
It is. It's not good for either guy.
Nah, it's not, because on one hand, Chad Gable needs to lose because that gimmick that they're having, well, the Americano, as they proved before, they can get after anybody and let anybody run with it. I mean, it's built for Chad Gable, but Chad Gable is better than Chad Gable's don't need to wear a mask.
No.
Let's put it that way.
If Ludwig Kaiser really goes into this, like they've said, he learned Spanish. He's got his Spanish down patted. He's almost fluent. He's got a Hispanic girlfriend. If he says, hey, you know what? I'm moving to like Mexico City and I'm just going to live this shit up, by all means, fully embrace the El Grande Americano and just run with it for the rest of your life. But do you really want to do that? Because that's basically what they're setting you up for. You're going to be the king of AAA. Nobody's ever going to see you wrestle besides people that live in Mexico. And you're too good for that, honestly.
Yeah.
You're way too good for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I am way too good to be watching that guy wear a mask. But you know what? I'm going to watch him anyway. But again, it like I said, like we both said, it's a lose-lose situation because anything that he accomplished as a solo wrestler, it won't be under his name. It'd be under Americano.
And I saw something months ago, and it's 100% true. Lucha Libre, they like to keep characters going.
Yeah.
So let's say Ludwig gets hurt and can't wrestle anymore, or let's say it's 25 years down the road and he retires. Somebody else is just going to pick up the mask and keep it going. And then everything that you did no longer matters because it's just the character of El Grande Americano.
Well, yeah, now, but
it's like Doink the Clown. Yeah. Nobody knows when Matt Bourne stopped being Doink and the new Doink took over and all that kind of stuff. It's just Doink the Clown.
Yeah. The WWE kind of got it settled that way where if he decides not to be American Grand Con, they got two other guys replacing him wearing the same damn mask. Pete Dunne and
Tyler Bate.
And I feel bad for them because they don't need to be wearing no mask. Like, Pete Dunne has a name. All right, Pete Dunne's one of the best wrestlers in NXT UK.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just goes back to my point of why don't you have a light heavyweight division? You're throwing a bunch of guys in masks because you don't have anything for them because they're too small for your liking. That's WWE saying it without saying it. We're just going to have you out there, throw you behind these masks because anybody can do it. If you guys get hurt, we'll throw somebody else behind the mask.
Which is kind of shocking to me because one of their best wrestlers to wrestle in the WWE wasn't that big, and he recently retired. His name is AJ Styles.
Basically, what was the thing I showed you last time we did the show? Who's better than Shawn Michaels? Basically, the best to ever do it is 6'1", 225 pounds.
Yeah. True.
And again, ring work, I do say AJ is better than Shawn Michaels, but it's very close. So two of the best to ever do it, period,
are
small guys.
Yeah, we're 6'1", under 230.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. We're gonna rewind. You're gonna catch up on this. We're gonna run it back. Rewind.
The only highlight of Raw.
For you was
100% it was.
the Usos losing the tag team titles. Now they say that they lost them. The theory is they lost them because they have a bigger storyline for the Usos.
Well, they have to get him involved in Roman's thing.
There you go. So
because Roman can't be held to actually carry anything on his own.
No. Of course not. And the thing is about this is you got ISO speed interfere. For some,
you don't want.
I didn't have a problem with Logan Paul's mom giving him the brass knuckles. I had no problem with ISO speed being there, sitting at ringside. I didn't have a problem with the backstage segment with Danhausen. I remember your name. I'm not trying to get cursed. What I do have a problem with is that looks like it's going to be a WrestleMania match, 6-man tag, the Usos and LA Knight versus the Vision and ISO Speed. I don't need to see that. Certain things make sense, certain things don't. Why am I having like a guy that's about 5'3", 5'4", and he's a YouTube content creator? He's not a professional wrestler. He has no wrestling skills. He's not Logan Paul.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. WWE's reliance on celebrities to carry their product is super old to me.
You know what would make sense? Honestly, I would have put Rusev in this spot.
I mean, he's basically the same height as I Show Speed, so.
But I mean, it would make more sense because him and LA Knight can just go at it.
LA Knight just needs to fake an injury and get off TV for a good long while. That's the best I could say to that. Just they're not doing anything relevant with you, and if you can't see that, like, I don't know what to do for you. Just fake an injury, take some time off, do some work on yourself to reinvent your character, and try and come back and hope for the best. Or as soon as your contract is up, just go somewhere else. Because at least at any other promotion, you'd be in the main event title picture constantly, not thrown into like garbage stuff like you're doing now. And a lot of it is his own fault. I mean, he botches a lot in the ring. A lot. Especially when he does that stupid corner, I'm going to bounce from the second rope to the top rope, and then he falls off like an ass. And his gimmick is nothing. His gimmick is I'm the Slim Jim sponsor guy. So, like, what are you really doing character-wise? Nothing. As far as the whole thing, the Usos don't need to have the titles right now because your tag team division is non-existent. The Vision need the titles like we talked about before because you had what was supposed to be your dominant faction. Your two heavy-hitting members are out with injury. I mean, as it is, you had to throw Gunther into this whole thing now just to make the Vision somewhat credible.
So you skipping ahead. I told you we was going to save on that. Then we
can come back to it, but I mean, the whole thing. You have Austin Theory and Logan Paul that you weren't doing a lot with that now have to carry this entire faction thing. So you had to give them the titles to make them somewhat credible. Why you're throwing LA Knight into it and the I Show Speed kid, like, I didn't even know who he was.
Oh, I know definitely.
Until like a year or two ago when WWE started using him for stuff. If you're not going to be a pro wrestler, just get the hell out of here. Logan Paul at least embraced it and became great at it. That's why people accept him. But something like him just coming up and doing these backstage spots, like, for what? It serves no purpose.
Yeah, but see, that part I agree with you to a certain extent because him do the backstage spots. It's not. I had no issue with that. The issue that I have, and I think a lot of people gonna have, is why is he in the ring? Now, don't get me wrong. He was linked up with Logan Paul when
why
Logan
is
Paul
he in the ring? Is a simple answer. WWE lacks substance. They have no substance to their product, and they try and use celebrities to get them over. Why is Jelly Roll wrestling solo matches on SmackDown? Because they're desperate. Like, this company reeks of desperation on everything that they're doing. Oh, John Cena's hosting WrestleMania. Why? Because you're not selling tickets. Why? Because you overinflated your prices for a garbage product. They won't admit that, but is the show that bad that people don't want to see it? No, people don't have the money to pay for it because you're ripping them off every chance you get.
Yeah.
That's the basic answer.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna throw anybody. We're gonna have Stephanie come out. We're gonna have John Cena host, and we're gonna have all these other celebrities that nobody really cares about show up. I Show Speed will be there. Danhausen will throw T-shirts into the crowd. Who cares? People are there to actually watch wrestling.
Yeah, that's
Nobody
true.
shows up to watch a wrestling show for backstage segments. Backstage segments are supposed to lead to what happens in the ring.
And hey, man, I don't know how the guy went from being, hey, take this curse off into, hey, don't put these brass knuckles off. I'm gonna see how they fit. And once I get spooked, I'm gonna swing on somebody. Okay.
Yeah, it's
yeah. So let me answer.
It's proof that Road Dogg didn't quit.
No, it's a proof that he did quit. It's also proof that some other people should have quit right behind him.
Yeah. And when I say that, I was totally joking. I know he quit, but it's
no.
People somehow thought that like WWE was going to get fixed overnight because Road Dogg quit. No.
No. We got the joke, but the thing is though is that why you said that joke, you should have said Road Dogg but see the and part is one of your good friends hire you and he's still running your same paperwork, and actually before then he was already doing this, you just enhance it to make it worse, but now he let you go because he didn't get all the blame. So now he's getting all the blame, and all those writers over there who probably has some good ideas, but the ideas they're coming up with right now, it just ain't working.
Well, and that's the problem is you have your writers that come up with these storylines, whatever else. They have to then get signed off by the head of creative. Well, your head writer first off, which would have been like Road Dogg on SmackDown, which then has to go to Triple H to get signed off on. Okay, it gets signed off on. Then it goes to the producers. Hey guys, this is how we need to try and tell this. So you have all these layers of shit you have to go through before you actually see it on camera. That just makes it that much worse that you have all these checks and balances essentially, and you still screw it up. The other problem that there is, they don't have any house shows anymore.
No.
These guys are wrestling way less. Way less means way less practice. That means when it's come time to actually do, look at how many botches that we see on a regular basis now.
I guess what bothers me about that whole thing, about the house shows, is that you got so many wrestlers out here, like you said, botches, some are green, some are just not good.
The amount of injuries and botches have increased exponentially.
Right. And because you don't got no house shows, how are they supposed to improve on live events?
That's my
point.
You know
what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I said, you got wrestlers who are botches. You got some who are just not good. You got some who are good and just making bonehead mistakes. And having these house shows, live event house shows, would kind of smooth that out with them. Like, you know, even the ones who are not really good, they can work on their 2-3 move set and have it down pat. Some of these live events, hey, you're stuck at your promo. Guess what you're gonna do in live event? You're gonna cut a promo.
Well, and it's like I was alluding to on the last show, like a lot of these AEW guys, if you didn't come from a major company overseas somewhere, you need to go through NXT, because even when you're a pro wrestler, stage fright is still real. Wrestling in front of 2,000, 3,000 people is different than wrestling in front of 20,000, 50,000, 100,000.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem with the WWE is that they trying to use NXT like it's a goddamn house show.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's not the training grounds.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. Used, and it shouldn't be used that way.
You're basically watching Ohio Valley Wrestling on an actual paid network, or not paid network, but a major network, which is basically a developmental territory.
Right, but what I'm saying is that You can't say, and I'm not talking about you. You can't come out here and say, "Oh, NXT is its own brand. It got its TV deal on the CW." You can't say that and then just come be like, "Yeah, we're gonna have some of these superstars get signed to NXT so they can know the WWE way, so they can train and learn how we do business." It's called house shows, man. You can't run NXT like a house show. If NXT gonna be on, it's gonna be its own standalone brand. Let it be its own standalone brand. If you
Well,
want guys, if you want the girls and the guys to get better at WWE ways and wrestling, house shows, house shows, house shows.
but house shows require traveling and logistical costs and all the things that they don't want to pay for. So it's easier for them to say, hey, NXT posts up at this one location and we're just going to ship everybody there except for the occasional PLE, which that's probably going to change because now they're not getting any money because they're played on YouTube.
I
But
mean,
they wanted NXT to be its own brand, but you've already run into an issue of you let it be well known that it was a developmental brand. So
that was the
anybody that
messed up
goes
part.
back there looks at it as a demotion. Ridge Holland didn't go back to NXT because he just loves it. He didn't have a choice but to go back there. Finn Balor went back there to try and reinvigorate himself. Things like that. Had great success there. Why? Because he's far better than anything they had down there.
And he's one of the far better things they got on the main roster if they just fucking use him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
But
what I'm saying. So, I mean, Blake Monroe, Ricky Saints, they're not development talent. They're not enhanced
no,
talent. These are wrestlers who are superstars. These are wrestlers who should be in the main
they're in
roster.
NXT because there's no room for them right now on the main roster. And that's part of the problem is a lot of these guys sit in NXT for so long. Like at what point is Tony D'Angelo ever going to get called up? That guy's going to like set the record for the longest tenure in NXT.
No, that'd be Jada Parker.
Yeah, I did forget about her. Another one that needs to be called up. But like you have a bunch of talent in NXT that's already ready for the main event, or not the main event, but the main roster. They don't have room for. Like all these women that are in the tag team division, for instance, that should be wrestling for actual titles to make people care. They're all in tag teams. That's what the NXT people should be doing. The Sol Rukas, the Zarayas, the Blake Monroes. Those are the people that should be in tag teams right now, establishing themselves on the main roster to then make solo moves. But no, you're taking all your main event people and putting them into tag teams that nobody cares about because everybody knows they're going to break up. Lyra Valkyria and Bailey aren't going to stay a tag team. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are not going to retire as tag team champs and go into the Hall of Fame as a tag team.
And we already talked about Last Legend and Nia Jax last week and what that's going to happen because they gave us the blueprint. Yeah. So I'm going to break this down. Well, you already broke it down, your rant. I appreciate your rant, even though I'm going to go back to your rant. So let me start from the top of everything you said before we got off topic with this. I didn't have a problem with Stephanie McMahon coming out during the Cody Rhodes segment. The reason why I don't is because if you see how Cody reacted this past Friday, where he just took his time, he walked through, like he was reminiscing that, and when he got into the ring, he got into a brawl with Randy Orton. But you had that sense of, man, I think Cody Rhodes just is not. He's taking it serious, but Cody Rhodes as is, it's not going to work. So I didn't mind that segment. To me, that was kind of more of a tough love type thing. That was more like, hey, you need to get on page with Randy Orton. Now, the one thing I didn't like the wording, like the diabolical.
Well, yeah, it's like she read the dictionary before she came out there.
Yeah,
this
it's like
Randy Orton's diabolical. Like,
yeah, it's like are you seeing what I'm seeing? This is like a PG Randy Orton. We seen Randy Orton diabolical. We seen Randy Orton really listen to the voices in his head. And this time around, Randy Orton's not even listening to the voice in his head. He's listening to the voice on the telephone, which I hope we'll find out soon. I think the WWE, when it comes to that storyline, I guess they needed someone to add a fire under Cody Rhodes. I had no problem with that segment. I enjoyed the segment. But my whole thing is, since you did that segment, now I got to see what Cody Rhodes going to be like on Friday. I got to see that fire out of Cody Rhodes. I got to see Cody Rhodes go into a different state and trying to not be like Randy Orton, but get there like Randy know, like, yo, I know your games. I know who you are. And he got to put him on nose. I'm coming for you too. I don't want that same old Cody Rhodes kicking that same old tyrant ass line that we hear every Friday or sometimes on a Monday when it comes to his matches. I mean, I was hoping his feud with Drew McIntyre or bring something out of him and he'll take that to Randy. But unfortunately, he reverted back to who he was.
No, because WWE is too scared to do anything with Cody Rhodes because he's generic and they can fit him into anything that they need him to.
Yeah, but this that's the part I do agree with Stephanie on without saying it. And yo, you gotta turn the switch on here.
Oh, you gotta dig deep. Definitely tell what they were trying to accomplish, but they could have done that. Yeah. It was so uninterested and uninspired.
I think, Jamie, if they would have done this on SmackDown, I think a lot of people would have felt it more compared to keep doing this on Raw.
Unless Randy comes out to interact with Stephanie by RKOing her or something to that effect, all you've done is dull the story.
Well,
because Stephanie has no role in this story whatsoever.
No, you're right. She has no role, but I didn't mind the pep talk. I didn't mind that part. I didn't mind the whole segment at all. I just kind of felt if they was going to do this, they should have done this on SmackDown. And yeah, and to your point, all right, so have her interact with Randy along with Cody. Because that, like have her do the same thing with Cody and have Randy come down and interfere.
That's what my point was. That would have meant something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that would have been great. But doing it on Raw, knowing that Randy won't be on Raw, Cody Rhodes is on there, that's the only part I could say on. The Usos losing the tag team titles, I have no issue with. The only thing I have an issue with is it shouldn't be a 6-man tag team match. And if the Usos going to be involved in WrestleMania, especially with the Roman Reigns match, then they don't need to be in the 6-man tag team match. You need to separate them from that 6-man tag team match. Unless the only way I could see them being part of WrestleMania other than the Roman match is if they would have got that rematch against the Vision at WrestleMania. But since they ain't not going to get that and they lead to a 6-man match, it don't make no sense for that. I would just have the Vision do something different, and I'll just have the Usos focus on the Roman match because they're going to get involved. The women's tag team title match, honestly, how much I'm happy to see all those ladies be on WrestleMania. Honestly, man, this could have been done on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. and I hate saying that because you gonna sit here and tell me Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, the Bella Twins, Charlotte and Alexa, basically telling me that one of those 3 teams gonna beat Nia Jax and Last Legend. That is unbelievable. You can't make that believable. It doesn't even make sense. It's the simple fact that no offense, they're Hall of Famers. Nobody wants to see the Bella Twins on TV. I'm just being cool. I'm not being. I'm
you
not
just
being.
Gotta say it with your chest out. That's all.
Nobody wants to see the Bella Twins on WTV. The only reason why they're back is because of this moment, because they want to be tag team champions.
Nikki Bella's back because she's got to pay Artem thousands of dollars a month if she needs money. Just call it what it is.
Okay, you take the personal side of it outside the ring. I'm just calling and say, hey, they want to be tag team champions. This is why they're back. They're gonna give them the titles, and they're not going to pin one of the champions. They're going to pin one of the other 2, one of the other 4 ladies that's involved in this whole thing. The
It's
EO
either going to be
Sky
Alexa Bliss or Lyra Valkyria. They're going to take the
gonna
pin.
get pinned, right?
Yeah.
Right. Um, the EO Sky and the Oscar, they haven't announced that yet, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, why are we having a match? Let me phrase that because I know it's gonna be a good match. I feel bad for EO because they're giving her a WrestleMania match in which that match with her Oscar could be done on Raw. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying that this is the only way you can get her on TV. But yet, again, you had a built-in story between her and Rhea Ripley, which you said before I even mentioned her going to SmackDown. You got a built-in story. Rhea can't beat EO. Let them finish that story up, and then you let them move on to do other things. But they decided to have Rhea win in the Chamber. She's fighting Jade. We don't need to touch that on to the weekend.
And it's so bad. Yeah. It's so bad.
The Penta match. The Penta WrestleMania match, the ladder match. See, my only thing is, if you just wanted Javon Evans versus Penta, just say, hey, let's have a number contendership between JD McDonough, Rusev, and Javon Evans. The winner will fight Penta at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. You got that taken care of. You got Rusev back on TV, in which nobody really didn't care for because you really not using him. The last time you used him, he got squashed by Obafemi.
Yeah, and his last meaningful feud was against Sheamus.
Yeah, until Sheamus got hurt, you kind of seen
surprise,
direction
surprise,
on.
Sheamus got hurt.
Yeah, and you could have seen the direction it was going in with those two guys was about to be a tag team, in which I would have loved to see. I would love to see Rusev and Sheamus against.
What was the name of their faction back in the day? The something Nations?
Yeah.
Face of Nations or something?
Something like that. I would love to see the Usos versus Rusev and Sheamus. That would have been a great match. Tag team match, but we're not going to get it.
No, because the Usos have to help carry the Roman Reigns story because, Roman Reigns is the greatest of all time, but he can't carry a storyline on his own.
Yeah. Oba and Brock.
Oba and Brock has everything that it needs. I still think the timing is completely off. But again, if their hand is forced by Brock saying that he's done this year, okay, I get it. But Oba looks huge until he stands next to Brock. You needed a year to let Oba just destroy people to get to Brock. Because once he beats Brock, what are you going to have him do? It's going to be like when Kane debuted and Kane just destroyed everybody until there was nothing left. And it's like, hey, guess what? We got to throw the Undertaker back out there because he's the only one left of that size. Like they're pushing him too hard, too fast with nothing to back it up. And that's the problem is you're going to leave him where he's stuck. Almost to like, not to the level of Omos because Omos is just so big, but like Omos has went almost a year before he even wrestled on AAA or whatever. And it's been over a year since he's been seen on actual WWE stuff. Oba is not going to go that long, but you're going to run into a problem where you're going to create a spectacle out of Oba with no spectacle for him to go to.
When I think of Omos, man, I think like, man, they can really make money out of Omos if they just make him kind of like Andre the Giant was towards the end of his career. You make that guy a special attraction. You make that guy like, well, nobody can beat this guy. He's 7'3", 400+ pounds. He's the biggest man in professional wrestling. He's the most dominant big man in professional wrestling, and nobody can beat him. But what you do? You got rid of him after he lost the tag team titles.
He's off making cologne now.
But I'm not mad at Omos because look, Omos has signed a brand new contract. He's making more money. He's down to AAA. He's being a special attraction in AAA, and he's being used down there. And like most guys his size, he's the bodyguard.
Yeah.
So I know Omos.
He's just warming up that seat for Powerhouse Hobbs.
And which we haven't seen yet.
He's wrestling dark matches before Raw.
Yeah. Again, like we haven't seen him yet. So now I want to come to the shock of the night. First of all, Paul Heyman did not get enough credit cutting all the promos he cut. The man is a genius.
The dude's having to take every bump because there's nothing for that story that they can do. So Paul Heyman has to go out there and take bumps every week now.
I mean, if there's anyone other than, I guess I can say, then Punk and Roman that's kind of saving the WrestleMania, I would have to say it's Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman really is working with nothing and he's making it happen. They're giving him shit and he's making it to gold. Everyone on his roster, on his team, is hurt. The two big names.
They're making it gold because he's that good.
Right.
They should have pivoted this story somehow, but they didn't, because they're desperate to get Seth Rogen, or I almost said Seth Rogen. They're desperate to get Seth Rollins back. Yeah. And Paul Heyman is good enough to still carry this story.
Right.
Now, the funny part is, hey, we got this guy who's supposed to be our biggest heel in the company. He's kind of sitting around doing nothing, and we didn't really factor in him not having anything to do. So why don't we just throw those two together and somehow, 2 weeks before WrestleMania, we'll act like we planned it. So when we do season 3 of Unreal, we're going to act like we planned for Braun Breaker to get hurt and we planned for Bronson Reed to get hurt, so that we were the ultimate geniuses, that we prepared Gunther to be in this spot. That's 100% what will happen.
Right. So we got Gunther versus Seth Rollins. I'm not mad about that because I know it's going to be a good match. I know it's going to be a good match. I'm not concerned about that. But here's my issue with this whole thing. Why? What's the relation? I need to know what's going to be the relationship between Gunther and Paul Heyman, because when we seen Gunther left the ringside, he paid no attention whatsoever to Paul Heyman. Like he looked like he didn't even exist. So I got to know, what's this role going to be? Is this a one-off? If this is a one-off,
there's no reason for him to be in the Vision unless WWE is basically formally acknowledging that Gunther can't cut a promo to save his life. And if there was anybody to make Gunther look credible, it's Paul Heyman.
Nah, that's what I mean. Now, so is he going to be represented by Paul Heyman? Because remember, during our promo, Paul Heyman was breaking down that his so many titles that he has. Are we looking at the potential of Gunther replacing Brock Lesnar?
Well, they have to, and that's really what they have to do, is that don't put Gunther in the Vision, because that's going to weaken him.
Yeah. It's kind of like Brock's not part of the Vision, but
exactly. They need to operate it just like that. Like, I manage Gunther. Gunther's not part of the Vision, but if I call on Gunther to help out the Vision, he's going to, just like Brock did.
Mm-hmm.
And with Brock phasing out, which Gunther, that's what tells me that Brock has done this year at SummerSlam, is that you had Gunther come out on that match.
So if that's what we're leading to, that Paul Heyman is going to be Gunther's manager, mouthpiece, then why do we have to wait to WrestleMania? To SummerSlam that happened, where you could just have Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania?
Well, they've had this hard on for Gunther versus Brock Lesnar for like 2 years now.
Right. And you could have just have it at your biggest pay-per-view.
Well, you don't need to have it at all. Now, Gunther beating Brock would be actually a benefit to his career.
Yeah.
Unlike beating John Cena, like, everybody knew he was done.
Yeah.
AJ Styles, everybody knew he was done.
Right.
But everybody kind of knows Brock is at the very end. That's why he's taken these massive, overly exaggerated, which is great, by the way, bumps from Oba, making Oba look like an absolute powerhouse. Like, when he took that clothesline over the top rope, like, dude jumped way over the top rope to make that look good.
Yeah, he did. Shout out to him for selling like he is.
But if Gunther loses at WrestleMania, there's no hope for him. And WWE's love of Seth Rollins, I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H books Seth Rollins to win.
Gunther can't lose. Just simple fact. It's still storyline, right? It's still storyline based. And even though Gunther's not part of the division,
We've seen WWE change plans regardless. Remember, The Fiend
right,
lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania for literally no reason whatsoever.
right. That's true. But Gunther can't lose. I mean, that it would make no sense. And then if he
That
loses,
didn't make sense either.
then you kill all his credibility when he do fight Brock Lesnar.
Oh, they basically killed his credibility by not having him actually set up for something in WrestleMania. They will, I guarantee you, when they do season 3 of Unreal, they're going to act like they planned this shit from the beginning. Oh, well, we knew that Braun Breaker was going to go down with a hernia thing because he's going to try and lift something that he just really wasn't capable of doing. And then we knew Bronson Reed was going to tear his pec and his tricep. So we just planned all this and we just bided our time, just like they tried to do with the whole Rock thing. Hey, we're going to do the whole documentary of WrestleMania. It's going to be out this Wednesday. 2 months later, it comes out. Why? Because they had to film everything to make it look like they planned to do this swerve and everything else. Unreal is more fake than watching Raw or SmackDown itself.
Sorry about that. I heard everything you said, but I was saying goodbye to the wife.
Oh, we could tell. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I won't blow on kisses at none of y'all fools, but that woman I do walk out the door. Yeah, I do agree with you everything you said. It just to me, man, wrestling it's not supposed to be this difficult.
They make it incredibly difficult.
It's not supposed to be this difficult. I'm not saying it's supposed to be easy either, but man, logic got to make sense. If logic don't make sense,
well, WWE tries to operate like they're the smartest person in the room. That's the problem that I have with them. Is you have to give the fans what they want to a certain degree. At the end of the day, you need to tell stories. You don't just need to tell stories that people want to see, because there's no point in watching or reading the book if everything happens the way you want it to. You just play it through in your head and call it a wrap. But you do have to give the fans a little bit of fan service to keep them on the hook and what they want to see. Again, when it becomes overwhelmingly loud, like the Cody thing, Cody versus Roman, they had to pivot. They were dead set on not pivoting until it became overwhelmingly loud. R-Truth. When fans are chanting at the end of your shows that they want this guy back, you bring him back. You did nothing with him for months after John Cena retired. And even now, he's not wrestling as himself. He's wrestling as a John Cena clone. Yeah. So what was the point in bringing him back?
Right.
Like at some point you just say, look, we don't have anything for R-Truth. We love him. We respect the 20 years that he put into us, but there isn't nothing for us with him right now. Maybe in the future we can bring him back. Because right now, I'd much rather see Ron Killings of 20 years ago than watching John Cena's moves all over again, trying to make us think that John Cena didn't retire.
Yeah.
And you give him the tag team titles, like another complete misfire. What is the point of Damian Priest and R-Truth having the tag titles?
I have no clue. So through all that, the first thing that came to my mind when I see Gunther attack Seth Rollins was that just told me that Braun Breaker won't be back in time. And which no one should be surprised, because it's a hernia. And when they say this is really a 12-week injury, bro, it's 12 weeks. You can't come back. If you come back early from a hernia injury and you re-injure yourself, you're going to be out even longer.
You'll be out a lot longer. And again, when you have any sort of cuts down by your abs, that affects your breathing. It affects basically any bent over motion that you're going to do. But most importantly, it affects your breathing. His endurance right now is probably shit because he's going to get winded.
Yeah. So, but this is WWE we talking about. So I do think somebody going to play a role.
I think Braun Breaker is going to show up for sure and interfere in the match. But it might be swinging a chair, when they do the whole, my head's going through the middle rope and somebody clocks me with a chair and then I fall in and schoolboy pin and it's over. Yeah. It might be something as simple as that, or
it might be Logan Paul or or Austin Theory or some brass knuckles, something. Something's going to happen.
Or it'll
Gunther's
be
going to win.
WWE trying to outsmart everybody and coming back and hitting Gunther with a chair to let Seth Rollins win. And, oh, Paul, you gave up on me, so now I'm siding back with Seth and some dumb shit.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's the type of stuff WWE does, to throw swerves in there.
Yeah.
When they're completely incoherent, like Bronson Reed joining the Vision after tsunamiing Seth Rollins 6 times.
Yeah. So finally, the last match or promo or event that happened that's worth they're talking about was the CM Punk came down ready for a fight, and we got it. I don't know how I feel about the pull away fights. I just don't like them. But here's the problem I got with the whole thing is that, and you alluded to it early. No offense against Roman Reigns and CM Punk, but when you came out early and said, "Hey, I'm gonna protect my main event," and you seen Paul Levesque, Triple H, came out of nowhere, like my man came out from underneath the ring. I don't know where he came from, and he got in between Oba and Brock. Later on that night, CM Punk, Roman Reigns brawl. You seen the same people who came out who tried to break up the fight earlier. This time around, Adam Pearce didn't get shoved to the barricade. He just got moved out the way this damn time, and by Roman Reigns, and didn't do any good because him and Punk still brawl. You didn't see Triple H come out and say, "Hey, we got to protect our main event." You didn't see that.
I kind of miss when the GMs actually had like a level of authority. Yeah. Because Adam Pearce, and I have nothing against Adam Pearce. They make him look so incredibly weak and that he can't manage the show. And if you're going to turn that into a storyline, like I thought they were last year when like Raw was just pure chaos for week after week after week. And I'm like, they're going to run something where Pearce is going to lose his job because he can't control the show. And they never did anything with it. But like, we know he can't wrestle again. He's talked about it. He's not going to get in the ring. So why are we throwing him to the ground and stuff to make somebody look tough? Like, where's the ramifications of that? They're not going to do anything. They're not even going to act like it happened.
Before you continue, one thing that also bothered me about the WWE is that when you hear Cody Rhodes or you hear CM Punk when they cut their promo, when they say, "I'm the guy, I'll call the shots." Why the hell I got a GM there?
Well, and that's why, like, wrestling in the 90s, the heavyweight champ would call it, "You want a match? We'll have a match." When we were little, back in the 80s, you had Jack Tunney. Jack Tunney was like the official guy and things like that. Then they got away from that, and like the heavyweight champ basically did kind of call the shots. It was Hogan a lot of times doing, we're going to have a rematch, brother, and blah, blah, all that stuff. And then they went into the whole GM thing when they did the brand split. Obviously, Vince had final say when he was doing the whole Mr. McMahon character. You knew he was the final say because he was the owner of the company. But then when they started going into the GMs, you had Bischoff, you had Heyman, you had, I think Chavo was a GM for a period of time. You had Vicky Guerrero, you had Teddy Long, you had Mick Foley, all these different people who played GM that had like a level of authority. Adam Pearce, they just treat him like he's a whipping boy. Aldis gets a level of respect, mainly because I think they're trying to keep him shielded from that a little bit, that he could come back into the ring.
But it's funny, like, it's kind of like, hey, the heavyweight champion of the world, the GM works for the champion. That's weak.
Well, and they already tried that with Cody and Nick Aldis. That's why I was kind of getting excited. I'm like, maybe they're going to do something with Aldis and Cody finally. When Cody went on that heel rant, what was that? Was that back in January? You work for me, yeah. I do all that stuff. I'm like, maybe they're going to do something with Nick Aldis. No, golden opportunity. You actually set something up magical and you destroyed it.
Yeah. So just that's another pet peeve, man. But I did not have a problem with these two guys fighting. But what I do have a problem with is you contradict yourself by, okay, you came out and you stopped Oba and Brock from fighting because you said you're going to protect your main event. This is your night 2 main event right here, and you let these boys brawl, but you didn't want to come out and break it up.
How you feel about blood in AEW is how I feel about run-ins in AEW. Security is always ready to pounce and separate guys because that's their way of making the fight feel important. That's them trying to manipulate the fans into thinking this is a bigger deal storyline wise than what it actually is. Just let them go. That's what's going to tell the story. Letting them go. Having a bunch of guys, oh, they beat up security guards. Who cares? It's like when you watch Star Trek back when we were little kids. The red guys, you always sent the red guys down to the planet first because they were the ones that got killed.
Yeah.
That's what the security guards are for. You send them out to get beat up, to make one guy look impressive. When you've got Obafemi launching guys 15 feet across the aisleway, when the guy is like 200 pounds, like that's meant to make Oba look big and strong. But you don't need to do it every single time somebody wants to come out.
Right.
And like you said, having Triple H come out for Oba and Brock, those are two monsters. And there's not a title on the line. But yet you have CM Punk and Roman, and Triple H is nowhere to be found. Like, tell me what you actually care about.
Without telling you.
Yeah. And honestly, I will probably go take a piss, get a drink, do whatever when the Roman CM Punk match is on, because neither one of them are likable.
And
I don't expect it to be a good match because they don't have CM Punk 10 years ago could put on a decent match. I've always thought CM Punk is overrated, but he could put on a good match. But at this point, he looks tired in the ring. Like, to Kevin Nash's credit, and he goes hard on people a lot of times, sometimes warranted, sometimes not. But CM Punk does look like he's just out of gas when he wrestles. He's got like 5 minutes of fury, and then he's done.
Kevin Nash said that?
Yeah, that was back when he called him out for wearing the T-shirts. And, CM Punk is super petty, and he took the T-shirt off just to have another T-shirt on. It's like, oh, I did all that for you, Kevin Nash. Yeah, Kevin Nash went in on him about how he looks like an old man in the ring.
The man is 48, 49 years old.
Exactly. But at the same time,
that's the whole point.
You don't have it anymore. You don't have it anymore.
That's the whole point. That's why I like what Roman said, that you're old. And it wasn't even being disrespectful. He was just stating the fact, like, yo, you're old.
Yeah.
That'd be like if I was a professional wrestler and I jump in the ring and you my friend, you my brother, you're like, hey D, you're old.
I tell you, you're old all the time.
Right, you're old, bro. So why are you trying to jump in the ring? You know what I'm saying? Like, what last guy? John Cena. John Cena's old.
My friends that are younger than me tell me I'm old all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. John Cena, he's old. That's why he retired. That's why like, I'm not doing this again.
John Cena, I have no problem with. John Cena, if he wanted to, could have stretched this out another 7-8 years if he wanted to. But it was when I feel that I can't go the way I need to go anymore, I'm done. And what did he do? His last year, he went all out doing moves he's never done before to give fans something a little bit extra. But you could tell he was struggling. Like when he did that Mexican Destroyer, that was like the slowest Mexican Destroyer of all time.
Yeah.
But he pulled it off.
Yeah.
And it looked good, but it was slow as hell. But when you can't go at that level anymore, just call it a wrap. And John Cena has the benefit of he's got a lot of money outside of wrestling that he can make. CM Punk tried that. Got his ass whooped twice. He ain't got nothing. So he's going to hang around as long as he can.
Yeah. That's all I got, man, for today's show. I was going to sit here and mention John Cena is the special guest. It's the guest host of WrestleMania. But we already know what that's all about. They need to sell tickets. He's not there to make matches. The simple fact that they brought him back is telling to me, you ain't let us miss him yet.
Well, and that's my whole problem. Like, you haven't even given us a chance to be, because you got R-Truth out there doing his entire moveset, but he hasn't even been gone for 6 months, and you're already bringing him back. You haven't given the fans a chance to actually not forget about him, but be like, oh man, I miss hearing John Cena's music, or I miss seeing John Cena. The dude just left. And it was Saturday night, I think it was. They said that they were still down 10% in sales over this time last year. And that's after you've run how many discounts on these tickets. But again, when you overinflate the tickets, it's like furniture sales. Oh, it's our biggest sale of the year where everything's 75% off. Well, when you raise the prices 85% to give me a 75, I'm still paying 10% more. That's all they're doing.
Yeah. And that's also telling because you went back to the well and got John Cena. Whereas you have the head guy who's sitting on the board who y'all turned to last year for ticket sales with Elimination Chamber.
Just wait.
Wait a minute though. He basically helped your ticket sales with Elimination Chamber because y'all said quote unquote the tickets weren't selling like they should.
Ari Emanuel called me personally because the tickets weren't selling for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
That was what The Rock said.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised within the next week if you hear that Rock is hosting night 2.
I won't be surprised if they say, "Hey, Rock, can you just get involved again?"
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
We already know you're gonna be at Saudi WrestleMania, but can you start your journey right now? Can you be part of a storyline? Can you somehow involve yourself into any type of storyline here that's going to help?
That's why I'm saying night 2. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do have him show up to host or some category like that. But again, you can't have him be a surprise because you need to sell tickets. So having him host night 2, that way he can interfere in the Punk Roman match to then set something up. Yeah. But that's the whole problem is they can't run on surprises. Anything that they do right now has to be announced so that people can get excited to buy tickets about it.
Okay. Anything in The Rock is not a surprise.
And the biggest thing that you have going in WWE right now isn't even remotely close to sniffing the ring in Danhausen.
Nope.
And I like Danhausen. I've always thought Danhausen is funny. His wrestling style it's limited because he's a small dude. Like from a muscle perspective, from a stature perspective, he's not picking up Cody Rhodes and tossing him around the ring.
He's a comedian. Yeah, I wouldn't call him a comedian wrestler. He's just a comedian.
To me, he's just a backstage gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, and he's going to be popular. He's super funny. Like, if you watch his shorts and stuff, the dude is hilarious.
Yeah. And
APA is great.
And I love it. I'm glad they brought him in for that. But what they really need is what everybody, myself, you, and everyone been saying. They need stories. They need to fix this wherever they got going on. If they got to fire some people, if they got to demote some people, fine. If you got to look at your roster, and if you got, let me rephrase that because I don't blame the wrestlers. If you got to look at your writing team, your CEO, your producers, and get some of them the hell up out of here. And if they got, I don't care if they got to do an overhaul fit, they got to fix this. Because this road, I can never imagine this road to WrestleMania to be as bad as last year's.
Well, I don't blame the talent. I don't blame the talent unless there's a reason to blame the talent.
Yeah.
But they do need to clean house. Because again, you have way too much talent that isn't getting any TV time.
Right. But they also got to extend that to the backstage area too. The backstage, you got to clean the house.
Oh, 100%.
That's why
I forgot. I read it a couple of days ago. I forgot who said it. It's former wrestler. I keep wanting to say it was Bubba Ray, but it wasn't Bubba Ray. I can't remember. But they said the reason Penta's having success over Ray Phoenix is because Penta focuses on his character work. You haven't given Ray Phoenix an opportunity to show his character work. You threw him in a tag team. You haven't done anything. And currently he's hurt right now. But I can't remember who said it. Now I want to find it because it's bothering me.
How can you sit here and say Ray Phoenix don't focus on his character work? In which, out of between
Matt Hardy,
brothers,
it was Matt Hardy.
How can Matt Hardy say that? And when Ray Phoenix got there, they gave him a nice debut, and then they was like, "Forget it. We just gonna put you in this tag team with Andrade. Forget everything you've done. We're gonna put you in the tag team with Andrade. Not with your brother, with Andrade."
And that's how I feel. It's like you haven't given this guy a chance to do anything with a character. Like, he's just as charismatic as Penta. The only thing he doesn't do the little walk and things like he's just as charismatic as Penta is.
Ray Phoenix, other than Rey Mysterio Jr. had one of the most successful runs as a champion in lucha, period. In wrestling, period. Triple A, period. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
I could put together a WrestleMania card for 2 nights right now within 10 minutes that would blow out anything that they have currently scheduled with talent they already have. Yeah. That they're just not doing anything with.
Right. You know, I know the WWE is lying. Is because last year you gave Rey Fenix a WrestleMania match as a substitute. I forgot who he fought. It was an okay match, but Rey Fenix made that match decent. Because you can tell my man, he had no work, no training. I forgot who he wrestled. I'm quite sure you're gonna look it up. But Rey Fenix worked with we had to work with and made that match a good match. WWE, if the WWE felt that way about Rey Fenix, they would have
never Americano.
That's what he fought last year?
Yeah, he substituted for Rey Mysterio, who got hurt.
Right. And that match was one of the best matches of the night. So if the WWE really didn't care about Rey Fenix, they wouldn't have gave him that match. If they was that high on Penta, like they say, hey, can't Penta work on his character? Then they would have given him that match at WrestleMania last year instead of Rey Fenix.
Mm-hmm.
The W basically told you who was the better wrestler between both brothers, and Rey Fenix just got there not too long ago. He wasn't even there the month they put him in a WrestleMania match. Why not Penta?
Yep. Explain to me why the Lucha Bros aren't the tag champs over R-Truth and Damian Priest.
Same reason why I need some explanation on why is Rey Fenix then getting the push he's getting. And now I understand he's hurt, but prior to that, before he got hurt, this man was sitting in catering. So what? You telling me he got hurt? He got hurt in catering. He got hurt carrying his plate to the table. That's what you telling me? Rey Fenix got hurt running to the buffet table.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But you know, we're not going to use him because we got nothing for him. But we're going to give his brother a big push.
Which, don't get me wrong, Penta's great. And Penta's got a little gimmick that resonates with fans, but you haven't given Rey Fenix an opportunity to do any of that.
100%. I love the Lucha Bros. 100%. I love Penta. I love Rey Fenix. I love the Lucha Bros. All I'm saying is, if Matt Hardy going to say something like that, back it up, bro.
Seriously. Well, my thing is, like, I keep pushing to have a light heavyweight title. I don't want to call it a cruiserweight title because then you're putting it at like the 205-pound weight class. We want a light heavyweight title. Make it like 225, 230, whatever it is. But then you'd have El Grande Americano. You'd have Chad Gable. You'd have Rey Fenix, Penta. You'd have almost half the roster eligible for that title. And it's almost like UFC for a long time. And even now, the light heavyweight division is far more entertaining than the heavyweight division because the heavyweights, they're just throwing haymakers. And if they connect, great, you get a knockout. If they don't connect, you're watching two fat guys that are just winded out there. The light heavyweights can still move around, still grapple, still swing, still kick. And that's basically what your light heavyweight / cruiserweight division would be with guys like Dragon Lee, who we haven't even mentioned. Dragon Lee is phenomenal. And I think that's their fear, is that if they did something like that, it would be dominated by the luchadors, because who's going to hang with night in and night out? Dragon Lee, Rey Fenix, Penta, El Grande Americano. Ludwig Kaiser has the endurance of basically anybody. Who's going to hang with those guys night in and night out? Nobody. But they would become the faces of your company. Like, there's no reason that those guys right there that I just mentioned aren't some of the biggest names in the company. But yet we're looking at guys like CM Punk and Roman and Cody, the same tired names that we've been talking about for the last couple of years because WWE is too scared to push anybody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. WWE, I tell you, they raise your blood pressure. That was okay. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this Central Finisher podcast. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow where you'll see some shorts, YouTube shorts on the Sims Finisher podcast. And later on the day, I will be working on our Instagram page, finishing that up, the touches. I actually sped that up because I want to get this, have some shorts posted on there. And when you see the logo in the back, when you see a picture, the AI picture of me and Jamie, well, technically, that's Jamie's real look. That's AI me. I can tell you that right now.
I mean, that was me like 35 pounds ago.
Yeah.
That was actually me. You just turned the head of my actual broker picture, but yeah, that was like 35 pounds ago.
Yeah, that
was
AI
pre-baby.
did that work with me. So
pre-baby, we'll call that pre-baby.
Yeah, absolutely. that's my excuse too. But yeah, check out our Instagram page, and we'll be seeing you guys on Sunday. And make sure you watch your AEW, because me and Jamie will be talking about AEW on Sunday, exclusively only. Totally. We gotta get away from the WWE thing because both our blood pressure gonna go up, and neither one of us are gonna be able to watch WrestleMania if this keeps this going. So AEW exclusively on Sunday. Could be missing good content out there. Make sure you guys watch it tomorrow. And I got one question to everybody. Who's your favorite AEW wrestler? Your favorite AEW moment? We want to know. So I'm DS Walt. That's Jamie. We're out of here.
Later.